Okay, Charles LeBlanc here. We're in front of the legislature. Now, everybody is bugging me. It's been about a month. Everybody is asking me, hey, Charles, the property tax. Hey, Charles, the property tax. Hey, what a scandal. I even did a little video, and everywhere I go, people talk about the property tax. Now, I like to go in there and say, hey, what about the property tax? But nobody's there. So I got one person that I'm going to talk with. Come on here a minute. There we go. There. That's a knife. This is not the voice of the province here.
No, you've got more viewers.
More viewers than voice of the province. That's good. Okay, this is David Coon, the leader of the New Brunswick Green Party. You have an opinion on this property tax scandal?
Yes, absolutely. Is this going to pick us up?
Oh, by the way, this wasn't planned up ahead. He didn't even know what the hell we were going to talk about. Okay, go ahead.
This is going to pick us up. He's going to hear the voices. Yeah. Okay.
Speak loud.
You're the blogger. Speak loud. I'm not going to shout. Anyway, so that's why I called for a public inquiry on Friday. Public inquiry to get to the bottom of what happened here. How is it? Like, who gave the direction that they should essentially make up, fabricate the property tax bills for people and intentionally overcharge, over 2,000 people on their property taxes? Like, how can that even happen? And if there were people inside who said, stop, we shouldn't do that, who told them to keep going?
But something like this, wouldn't in France, didn't they have that 200 years ago? Wouldn't that cause a revolution?
Probably not property taxes. But whatever.
No, but the Irvings, the one, as a matter of fact, I seen it on your website. The Tim Horton pays $38,000 in St. John, and the Irving were those cargo, those, what do you call them?
Where they unload the crude oil from the trains.
The crude oil from the
refinery,
train,
yeah.
The refinery, they pay $19,000.
Yeah.
Now, wouldn't the people get upset? And everybody, Irving gets lower, but every New Brunswicker is going to go higher.
Right.
Isn't that the perfect storm for revolution?
Right. So the big issue is the system is fundamentally unfair, and that's why I wanted this inquiry to not just look at this current scandal, but to look at the whole thing and say, how do we make sure that this system is fair to everybody, that everyone pays their fair share, that the big industries and even the small industries who got a break on their assessment because of maybe political connections, that they pay the fair assessment, the fair tax on the value of their property, so that everyone feels like they're being treated equally.
So they said, Brian Gallant said they want to let private enterprise to handle this.
Yeah, well.
Did he say that? Private, what do you call it? Private industry, private...
Well, no, he's talking about setting up a separate agency.
Non-government.
Well, it would be somehow, yeah, I don't know what it would look like, but my point is, we shouldn't spend all that money to set up a new agency.
No.
We just need to give the Service New Brunswick some more autonomy.
What we need is to have Ed Doherty and the Deputy Minister set up a guillotine at Officer Square, and then boom, 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 and start anew. I'm just being sarcastic. We don't believe in violence. But the Deputy Minister and the Minister should step aside, and they should really have, you have to eliminate some position. Somebody has got to take the blame for this.
Yeah, so there's the whole idea of ministerial responsibility, right?
Yes.
So the minister is supposed to be responsible for what happens in his department. And that's fallen apart here.
It is.
Because the minister is not speaking about the issues.
You call him a figurehead.
And
a figurehead. We don't. That was a good line.
I said that there are a number of ministers in this cabinet who essentially are figureheads.
Yes.
And some who are not.
So he's a physical handicap and smiles a lot. There's nothing wrong with smiling. I wish I could smile. So he's there as a figurehead.
Well, it's not a question of personalizing, but the point is that so much of our government is not run by the cabinet and premier anymore, but it's run by the premier's office, the premier, and a few cabinet ministers. So we've got cabinet ministers who do not carry out the responsibilities they really have. So that is fundamental to the way our democracy is supposed to work. If you don't have ministerial responsibility for the work of their department, then our democracy is undermined. So that's key.
It would be dangerous to have a private industry to do this. Then the Irvings could look at the private. the private company put the back in the
Well,
back pocket.
well.
And it could happen. We're not saying it will happen.
But to be fair, I
but
think
the government has got to be in control of what's going on here.
what they're looking at is what they did in Nova Scotia and in Ontario. So they set up these independent agencies to do the assessments. But I don't see the need. We've got good assessments. We've got assessments here. Good assessments here to do the job. But it needs to be organized differently so they have more independence and that Service New Brunswick functions, in that way. There's a board of directors there for Service New Brunswick, but the board includes a number of deputy ministers, which really, to me, doesn't make sense. It seems like Service New Brunswick should have its own independent board of directors, which hires their CEO, rather than that person being an appointment.
Did you get a lot of comments on the street about this?
Lots of people are concerned about it. It touches so many people in their pocketbook. Just like it reminds me of, back when Elizabeth Weir was here, she was focusing on how people were getting ripped off on their car insurance.
Yes, I remember that.
Right? So it's the same kind of idea that it affects people directly, and people want to make sure that they expect to be treated fairly, and when it comes to their pocketbook and they're not being treated fairly, well, understandably, everyone gets upset about that, and that needs to be fixed. So we need to bring fairness to the system.
But Quebec, there would be months and months and months of inquiry, and there would be a proper inquiry.
Yeah.
In this thing here.
Well, so what I wanted to see when I called for an inquiry on Friday was that a public inquiry constituted under the Public Inquiries Act of New Brunswick would be established. That's what I was proposing in my call for an inquiry, and not just a review, but actually a public inquiry where the commissioner, the judge, has the powers to subpoena people, subpoena information, and those legal
When's the
powers.
last time we had something like that? The Miller inquiry, Kings Clare?
I think there was one after that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
she,
can't
the
remember what it was.
hospital.
Maybe that one, yeah. Maybe she hospital.
So one more thing. You're an MLA, you're a smart guy at times. Do you think I would become, look at the eyes, he just told me that, you know what. Do you think I could be a good host for Voice of the Province besides talking about the guillotine and all that?
You have to leave violence out of it.
Violence out of it. Okay. So anyway, we'll see the property tax. What's your website?
DavidCoonMLA.ca.
DavidCoon.mla.
No dot. DavidCoonMLA.ca.
Okay. DavidCoonMLA.ca. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
À la prochaine. Carry on. Let's move on.
Thank you.